I mean, Gina is like sort of the band's historian. She's never thrown out anything, including the high school, her high school underwear, right, Jean?
8th grade.
You still wear that?
Elementary, grade school.
Fucking crack. No, I save things. I
She
don't know.
saves
She was
things.
still wearing her 8th grade underwear
not.
on the last
No,
tour.
She doesn't wear it, she
Seriously
saves
was.
it. Okay.
I save it. I don't wear it, but they say love one of them, and I had them in
Okay.
8th grade.
Anyways,
And your
Gina-
socks, too.
How do you feel about being here? Is this like surprising to you at all, or as the culmination of a journey, if nothing else?
We're all pretty super excited.
Yeah, we're thrilled.
Yeah.
And we had no expectations, but when we got the news, we were just over the moon.
Yeah.
And Allison, absolutely. I mean, she just did such a great job.
I've kind of learned in this band that like anything can happen. I mean, when you think it's kind of winding down,
Something always happens.
you know, like, oh, we have a Broadway musical, okay, you know, and then, oh, we're getting a star on Hollywood Bowl. It just seems like things always happen. So this is awesome.
The band that never dies.
Yeah, the band that won't die, right?
Won't die.
Because sometimes it takes a special occasion to get the 5 of you together, certainly, whether it's, like you said, a Broadway musical, all sorts of honors that have come along, but you're actually doing shows this summer, and it's the first time in a long time that you've done shows, all 5 of you in the same place. So
Yeah.
does that get more difficult as time goes on, or does it always just kind of fall together somehow?
It's like no time has passed. Whenever we get together, it's like it was yesterday. It's funny. I mean, I've never had that sort of experience with anybody else.
Your director said that it was like sisters. Did you expect that sisterly vibe? Did you sort of know that going in?
I didn't know exactly that would happen, but I'm the eldest of 4 girls, so I'm very familiar with sisterhood, and so this felt very natural to me. And when you're with them together, they act like sisters. And sometimes that's fighting a bit, but usually that's a lot of love that goes along with that.
So I have to ask, how much did History of the Eagles have to do with this? Would this have happened if you sort of didn't have that as an example to go, hey, here's something that can work that's kind of warts and all, but actually the band likes it even though it's warts and all? And with the Eagles, that must have been nearly impossible. And I don't know how hard it is to get the 5 of you to sort of agree that, hey, we're going to make a movie that we're all going to like.
It was tough at first, because we weren't sure exactly what we wanted to talk about and how in depth do we want to get about all the different subjects, different periods of time when we were in control and out of control, and but I think the way Allison did it, she's a great storyteller.
Yes.
That's the thing. When I was watching it, I wanted it to keep going when it was over. I'm not kidding.
Go ahead.
No, I'm done, babe.
I was really worried because the Eagles one had so much amazing vintage footage.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that. And I was really worried how our story would be told without, that footage, and how Allison was going to make a compelling visual piece, using basically stuff that I thought had just been seen before. Because it sometimes feels like between YouTube and what the fans have shared with us, that we've seen it all.
It's how you use it in context.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And juxtapose it with different stories, and you can make something that funny that wasn't funny, or vice versa. The Polaroids in particular make it feel so personal. Like this is coming.
Polaroids.
This is them telling their own story as you guys were living it, and having access to that material from all of you. But you had obviously the most, and it makes it so special, I think.
I was surprised about where you found all the live footage from.
Yeah.
Which is,
video. There was
nobody obviously had video cameras or like mobile phones back
Thank
then.
goodness.
So,
Well, what's funny is the era right before you guys, all this stuff was filmed, and so the archive is beautiful. And you get to the 80s, you get all this sort of ruddy video, but we kind of made that part of the aesthetic of it too.
Yeah, it's
Or
great.
go with the roughness.
Yeah. Trying to
it
correct
works.
that stuff would have been a nightmare.
Yeah,
Trying to fix
exactly.
all that
Yeah.
footage. Ooh.
Go with it.
Were you happy that there's such a concentration on this movie of the early punk days, and that it really does establish you as this influence on the Green Days and Nirvanas of the world and all that kind of stuff?
It's the truth, and not everyone knows that that's where we came from, and it was really a really cool and special time.
It was important to be told for
Yeah.
everyone to really get the full picture.
And I think looking back on it 42 years later, for me, that's the most fun times were the early days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like once we got successful, everything got hard and weird. But before we got successful, even though we thought we couldn't be happy until we got successful, we were actually having a ton of fun.
It's always like that, right?
Yeah.
Always that way.
Yeah, and it becomes a business and money is involved.
Yeah, money
change.
can be pretty ugly.
I had fun.
Oh yeah, yeah, we all had fun.
Question for you and your director, sort of the balance between fun and some of the heavy stuff that comes in, because there might be people who come to this who just want to see, oh, fun, bubbly go-go's. There might be people on the other end of the spectrum who go, I want
The
gritty
dirt
sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Dirt.
Yeah, and this certainly has aspects of both of those, but it's neither a stereotype of.
Well,
what
wait
the
till you
movie
see part 2.
I was really happy that Allison focused a lot on the fun we had and the camaraderie and the love and the milestones and stuff, and not just the salacious stuff. There's so much more to us than just, oh, America's sweethearts, or oh, they're drug-crazed demons. Like, we're humans and we're in between that. So I feel like Allison really showed that.
I also think that what I've found so wonderful working with all of you, especially when you're together, is how fun and funny you are together. And for a while, the film was too funny, and we had to sort of back some of the stories off. It's like, wow, okay, here's the next antic. And so we had to give it a little bit more shaping of story, because there were a lot of fun moments that are on the cutting room floor. But our lips
That's
are
a part
sealed.
sort of establishing the punk roots is one thing, and maybe establishing the place in sort of feminist history is another. And somebody has to point to that and go, no, hey, look what happened. This was really important. So you think this movie will have that effect of sort of establishing the pioneering, and that these women are sort of heroines for what they do?
Hope so.
We hope so.
We didn't fly a flag, but our actions were just,
and we were a female operation. We had female roadies, female management.
Lawyers.
It was a girls' club. It was
Total.
no boys allowed, but I think we were feminists because we did what we wanted to do on our terms, and we never had to, we were authentic.
Yeah.
And was it crucial to have a woman director, do you think?
I think that, I don't feel that way, but I'm really glad we got a woman. I'm really glad we got Allison.
Yeah.
But I think other people could possibly understand us. But it's good to hold other women up, and help other women. And I think that's important.
In terms of doing the interviews, when you had to get into the hard stuff, was it painful at all? Or one or two of you might have mentioned the word wincing.
Yeah, I hate looking at myself. Oof.
I'll be
Wait till you
playing.
get to the big screen tonight.
Oh, shit. High
It'll be all like
definition.
pores, chin hairs sticking.
Oh, stop.
Ultra HD, right?
Okay.
I'll be playing Words with Friends every time I'm up on the screen.
I'll be in the bathroom throwing up.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
It ends with some people making the case for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is, do you feel like this movie kind of needed to be out there to make a case for the people who haven't figured it
I
out yet?
think we didn't even need to say it in the movie. I think the movie, without saying it, would have been the case to get him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But we have a little fun saying it, so.
We've been over that so many times now. I don't even think we even care anymore.
don't
It's just
care.
such bullshit.
Well, I think that people like to be told what's significant and important and worthy, and if they're not told that, if it's not held up, then your career kind of starts getting a patina of insignificance. And what Allison has done for us is really hold us up in all of our fine glory.